Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another segment where we help insurance agents go from point A to point B through a lot of knowledgeable information that not only myself, but agents that I bring on to this segment who are very successful at what they do. For those who don't know, I'm Prince Donnell, founder of Jack Life Insurance. I'm a licensed agent, have been for over 10 years. I'm licensed across the entire country. I wrote a lot of policies, got awarded by National Life Group, and I love the insurance industry. And with that, I love it so much that I found that 95% of agents fail within the first 1 to 2 years. And I like to use this segment to be able to bring other agents onto this platform who have built their own agencies to be able to provide you with valuable knowledge and information about how they were able to get to where they are today. With that being said, his next guest that I have, he's a special guy, man, because what I've seen him accomplish, and just in the past 60 days since I met him, I met him through Jack Life Leads community that we have here, and what I've seen him accomplish not only within that community with the amount of families that he's helped, but then what made it more valuable, and I knew that this was real and that he was like actually an amazing leader, was that I saw his agents, they were seeing success too. And that's a big indicator for me. If you could duplicate yourself, it means you're a phenomenal leader and that you actually have done it yourself and you can show other people how to do the same thing. And from that point, I'm saying, okay, this guy's plugged in. He knows what he's doing. And just a lot of other content that he puts out on social media to be able to educate communities and masses about the products and services that are offered and breaking down IULs. And I'm like, okay, this guy's great. And I got to get him here to talk a little bit to be able to help you as an agent. With that being said, I want to introduce Jereme to the line. Elevated. What's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, Prince? Good to be here, man.
I'm glad to have you. With that, I want to hop right into it. Jereme, tell us a little bit about like your start in this space. What attracted you to the insurance industry and made you say, I'm doubling down on this thing and I'm going to become successful, and this is my industry and my vehicle to do it?
100%. Well, I have a little visual, man, and this right here, this is my mom in this capsule. And unfortunately, I learned the hard way of what it meant to not have a financial plan in place. And I saw a woman that worked 50 years of her life leave this earth with no legacy, nothing to leave behind. And not only going through that, at 24 years old, losing my mom emotionally, but financially took a major toll. So when I got introduced to this industry, they always say, sometimes your biggest adversities will become your biggest assets if you can get on the other side. And so I was fortunate enough to meet a man that introduced me to the industry. And for that's ever changed my life. And so I made it a mission, man, to make sure that no family had to go through what my family had to go through financially. And that was really the beginning. Now, fast forward, we're 7 years in the industry. We now built over 200 licensed agents all across the U.S. And my mission has evolved. And so now, our goal is simple, man. We want to build the most dominant financial leadership agency that North America has ever seen, so we can go out and serve, millions and millions of families.
I love it. I want to share with you, if you're watching this right now, a couple of things that Jereme just said, and I'll read in between the lines here. Number one, he has a very clear why. And if you're an agent right now, if you don't have a why, and you just got your license, then you're not going to go pretty far in this industry, right? Or just in life in general. He has a very clear why. And outside of having that clear why, he doubled down. And I want y'all to hear this. He said 7 years. He didn't say 3 months, 6 months. He didn't even say a year. He said 7 years. A lot of times we quit within 3 months, 6 months, right? 7 years in. Consistency, and it's why he's at the place where he's at today and why he'll continue to get to where he's going. It's that consistency that's there, right? That I talk about all the time. I love it. And outside of that 7 years, he has a clear mission, right? And I would assume that this mission is written down as somewhere where he's able to remind himself and say, here's where I'm going, right? I've been in this for 7 years. Here's where I'm going. And if you're an agent, you need that. Make sure that's down. I love it, Jereme. One of the things that I asked, I'm intrigued when it comes to asking agency owners like yourself is, could you share, if I were a new agent right now, what's the skill sets what's that one skill set, one or two that I need to have that's going to be able to allow me to cross over, to be able to help more families, to be able to recruit more agents into my organization, right? Because I know I got a license, so I was able to pass that exam to offer insurance, but what are the skill sets that I need to be able to collaborate with that license to really be able to make money in this and be able to recruit people into my organization?
Huge. So I would say the first, not only just in this industry, but any businesses, number one, mental toughness, right? You gotta be okay with, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. You gotta be okay with, eating no's for breakfast and taking rejection and not, giving into approval addiction and being okay to separate yourself from others. Anything significant or great that you want to do in life, you got to go against, the pack. So that's kind of the first thing. The second thing is always being a student of the game. The one that knows everything does and knows nothing. So I always tell my team all the time, man, you got to just be a student of the game, be coachable, learn from others that are already living the life that you aspire to have. And just, your ego is not your amigo. So just leave it at the door in this industry. And as long as you come in with an open mind, ready to learn, ready to serve, you'll go very, very far in this industry. And I would say the third is just, again, learning how to actually take care of families. A lot of times as agents, when we're new, we always want to be, make a bunch of statements. We want to be, more, interesting than interested. So I always tell new agents is, hey, make it about them. Find out what people's pain points are. Get really good at asking good questions and open-ended questions. Be curious. And that's going to take you extremely far in this industry.
I love it. And so you talked about asking the right questions and engaging with the prospects in the right manner. Realistically speaking, if I were an agent, how much time would you say that it would take one to be able to go from just getting licensed and I'm licensed to where now when I get on the phones or I'm on a Zoom call or something of that nature that I have a fluent conversation, I'm able to really understand the client's needs and really cross over to submitting that application and that policy. How long would you say that took you, and how long would it take agents that they're now part of your organization? Like what does that look like realistically speaking?
Yeah. So if somebody can be coachable and the mental toughness, all the things I just, mentioned, I would say, for our agency, we have really a 30 and 90 day training curriculum where we'll make someone we call a certified field trainer. So our goal in your first 30 to 90 days, kind of, get you out the nest. It doesn't mean you're, alone forever, but we want to get you to a point where you're able to sit down with the family, make money on your own. And obviously you have, coaches and mentors that guide you along the way. But I'll say 30, 90 days. Now, if you're uncoachable, take forever to get the, your license, you don't, subdue to the system, you're, resistant, you try to know everything before taking action. And yeah, it can take you a good solid year to feel like you really got your, feet from under you. But yeah, I would say as long as you're coachable, you're willing to put in the work, do whatever it takes, I would say about 30 to 90 days, you'll be ready to rock and roll.
30 to 90 days, a full-time commitment in order to really make it happen for yourself. And even
100%.
if you're 2 years licensed, I still believe in resetting, right? Like if you haven't given yourself 90 days to fully understand the products, fully understand the underwriting guidelines, fully understand how to have the proper conversation and how to diagnose the prospect's issues, restart your 90 days over again and do it over, right? So you could rebuild and that momentum that you have. Now, I'm going to ask an interesting question here, Jereme. I got two to three questions here left that I have. This first one I have is, I found that in this industry that there are two types of agents. Now, I'm independent. I've been independent my entire career, so I find it interesting on these answers here is that you have your first type of agent who's like, hey, I don't necessarily invest into talking to more people. I don't invest in, let's just call it leads, refer, like whatever that may be, to build your pipeline. I don't do any investment. I do referrals and warm market. And then you have your agents who are on the other side that are like, all that I do is spend money to be able to talk to more people. And I think that there's a split in this industry right now where agents are like, well, which one do I do? Because some people are seeing success this way, some people are seeing success that way. And with your advice, if I were an agent right now and I'm trying to figure out what option to take, What does a proper game plan look like for me? And what's the right answer to that question?
A lot of times my agents, my team asks me, should I do warm market? Should I do cold market? Should I do leads? And I always respond back that you're asking the wrong question. The question is not who I should be talking to. The question is, who have I not spoken to? Who have I not introduced myself to? Who doesn't know my name and what I do? So whether you're warm, cold, buy leads, like you're in the people business. So we got what? We're almost probably now 400 million people in the US. That's your market. So whatever you need to do to get to that market, you got to have a whatever it takes mentality. You know, just not, again, this business, but in the financial industry. And if you're really about it, if you're really about helping people, really about what you're doing, then hey, if you meet somebody at Walmart, you're able to get a lead. You know, obviously I built now in the last 7 years a 7-figure practice without buying leads.
Wow.
Okay. But I also see the value in it. I see the value on what you built. And if I'm like, hey, if I can get my agents results faster, more efficiently, get people to build confidence. And hey, if you can cold or close a cold market, then you can easily close a warm, hot lead. So I took, you know, your opportunity and why I kind of fell in love with internet agents as, hey, this is a place that I can bring my agents, leverage what you've already built, put them in an incredible community, aside from what we've already built with Elevate, but now get them supercharged. It's almost like NOS in the car to where they want to go and get them experience, help them build confidence, get them comfortable with rejection. And so now when they go talk to friends and family, they already got the confidence, they got the skill set. It's no biggie.
I love it. So to summarize, the answer to that question, what I'm hearing is that there's a mixture of both, because from what you're saying is that both routes are necessary, because the only goal is, how do I talk to as many people that I haven't talked to before? And there are some faster routes to do that, which comes with their own set of obviously problems. Then there are slower routes to do it, which again still come with their own sets of problems. But at the end of the day, as long as your main focus is on talking to that person that you've never spoken to before and getting them covered, you always get to that place. I've always been, to be honest, I think it's really impressive that you were able to build a 7-figure agency without anything regarding on the lead side. I'm like the exact opposite, because since I've been, independent with my agency, that's all I've ever known. And not necessarily like buying leads from like other vendors, but I learned the skill set of how to actually self-produce the leads, but utilizing Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and these other platforms to be able to drive it. So it's pretty much the same thing. I just was on the front end running this process, and that's how I was able to scale my agency up to that 7-figure mark. But I had to spend, of course, a lot of money to do it too. So, and also if you got a certain group of people that I'm like, okay, they're not answering the phone, and then I gotta catch up with these. So it all comes with this sets of benefits and drawbacks. But one thing I will say is, you'll never get far if you do nothing as an agent, right? And you don't make a decision to just start taking action. And I'll leave it to this last question, Jereme, which is, let's talk from a business financial side. You obviously were able to build a 7-figure agency, which means that you know how to run a business. Now, I find that a lot of agents in this industry have not been able to cross over to this mark of agent to kind of intra-entrepreneur. What would you say was that bridge for you? Like, was it something that you read? Was it something that you did that crossed that bridge over from you being an agent over to an entrepreneur? What was that bridge there? And then from that point, kind of like, how were you able to nurture that to be able to continue to scale out what you have today? Because it's no accident getting to a 7-figure mark. That was clearly intentional.
Yeah. So my practice company was Northwestern Mutual. So that's where I started, being on the traditional side of things. And obviously there you eventually, over time, like it all comes with experience, and so you don't know what you don't know. So when I was there, I was very excited about helping families. I just lost my mom to cancer. So I was sold out to really just being a producer and serving families. As time went on, though, you eventually get kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, kind of being on the hamster wheel. realizing that, hey, if I help 100 clients this year, I got to do the same thing all over again, right? Being a independent producer. So I realized I wasn't really a business owner. I was self-employed. So eventually what ended up happening was I realized I just wasn't a part of the right vehicle that was going to get me to where I wanted to go, which in this case, let's say financial freedom. So eventually I realized, well, hey, if my managing partner is the only one overriding all these agents, what if I did the same thing? So I ended up leaving, found a better platform that allowed me to be independent, build my own agency. And so right away, I knew that if I'm really about changing the world, helping millions of families, it's going to take me thousands of years for me to try to do it on my own, which is not even possible. So I realized that everything great comes with the team, right? And if you start to look at every successful company out there, Amazon, Apple, the Army, your most successful church, which organization that's growing doesn't recruit? Which organization doesn't build? And so a lot of us that we've been programmed our whole lives to be employees, right? So thinking about building a business and scaling and recruiting, those were like bad words when I first started. So I had to really, have the right mentors, a lot of just self-development. And so kind of second to answer your question is, once I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, I saw the vision of being able to want to serve. I made my why bigger than myself. I realized it's not about me. It's way bigger than me. Then really second from there, it starts with you. Everything starts and ends with you. So it's personal development, it's personal growth. I went through the ringer, myself, lost a lot of friends and quote unquote families, burned a lot of bridges, invested a lot of myself, watching different mentors, Ed Milet and Tony Robbins, going to different events.
Yeah.
And I had to grow me, because what I realized is that, you can never out earn your identity.
Wow.
And so in order for you to level up and hit the income levels and the type of lifestyle you want, you got to become a different version of you. Because if you are already who you need to be successful, you would already be successful. So you got to become a different person.
Wow.
So we're not meant to stay the same. We're meant to change. And it can be scary, but what's more scary is staying the same.
You got to outgrow your identity. Like, I want y'all to hear that. That line right there, for some of you that are watching this, that's the statement that you need here in 2023 that says that clicked for me, right? I have to get out of my comfort zone. I have to move into new environments that are going to stretch my mind, stretch my spirit, and push me to that next level. And it's going to be tough, but you'll get there. I love that. And I'll last question, because you brought something to me, Jereme. I got I'm on the line here with this 7-figure agency owner, and if there was for the experienced agents right now who are like, hey, I got to that 6-figure mark, but I can't seem to get to cross over that million mark. Like, what's that one thing that you could give that 6-figure agency owner right now to be able to cross to that 7-figure? What was that for you that kind of that made that momentum shift happen to that 7-figure mark? What was it?
Volume. That's it. If you can get to 6 and you have 10 agents that help you get there, go get 20. go 10x it. That's it. We eventually will learn in business. It's all about volume. And that's what, partnering with yourself has been a huge asset to our agency, because again, it's really taught our agents about volume. That, hey, just because, you're holding on to that one prospect, your uncle that hasn't done business with you, you have no idea, Don, how many agents I've seen come and go because of that one person that they thought were going to become their client. And they literally just held everything on that one thing. But you realize, man, in business, it's all about the numbers. And when you learn how to focus on the numbers and you take the emotion out of business and you focus on the systems and the structure, then it's game over. And then it's just a matter of time to scale. And you got to give yourself time to win. A lot of people don't even give themselves time to win. We go to school from, 18 years of our life. Then a lot of us go get BAs, go get masters, to then settle for a $60,000, $100,000 job. But you can't even put a year in your business that can make you financially free. Wow. You can't even get 3 to 5 years of your life to literally be work because you want to, not because you have to. So you got to give yourself time to actually win. And so many agents don't do that. So focus on the numbers, focus on the volume. Don't stop doing things that got you to 6 figures. Now just figure out, okay, what systems do I need to tighten up? What emotions or bad habits do I need to leave behind, so I can just focus on more volume and just focusing on 10xing right where I'm currently at. And if you're at 100,000, you 10x, you're at 1,000,000.
That's
Simple
it.
as that.
Numbers. And just to piggyback off of what Jereme just said, I find systems to be so valuable. Save yourself. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money, right? Every great company in this world has a system. I even take Apple as an example, is that like you look at this phone right here, okay? This phone is just a product. The actual system is what drives the phone, okay? iOS. Without iOS built into the phone, then there is no iPhone, right? So it's the system. So it's kind of like even with you as an agent or agency owner watching this here, like the prospect, yeah, that's like the iPhone. That's the prospect. But without the system, the prospect never actually goes through the flow to actually become a client. And then that client turning into 5 more referrals, that turns into 5 more referrals. And now you're like, okay, wow, I was able to really duplicate myself 10 times over because I had a system that was in place. I'll leave it with this, is that the 2 systems that I implemented early on is when launching my agency was, number one, I saved up enough capital from the commissions that I was earning, and I hired myself a VA right away. Like, I hired a virtual assistant, and the way that I did it was that the second that somebody filled out the form online saying that they were interested in insurance, within 60 seconds, that VA was required to call within 60 seconds. Because if they just hit submit, that means that they're like right by their phone right there on the spot. And the VA will call right away, get on the line. Hey, what's going on? I'm calling on behalf of Prince Donnell, Jack Life Insurance. How can I help you? And she would either book that appointment, collect the data information, and get me and make it my very next call. So while I'm focusing on closing a deal, I have a VA that's focused on making sure my next appointment is already ready and booked with the lead that came in. And then the second thing was, of course, I had a CRM/follow-up system where somebody doesn't answer, then now I could put them in, drop them in that system, and let my text messages follow up with them up until they finally answer, saving me time, saving me money, and allowing me to be able to get more policies faster. And for me, as the agency owner, to be able to focus on what's important, like Jereme talked about, volume, right? And not wasting a lot of my time on following up with prospects when that's costing me 3 hours that I could have been focusing on volume, training, and things of that nature. So,
100%.
Man,
I'll add to that real quick, man. So a couple of mindsets that have like really, I think, helped me continue to scale that, new agents can adopt is, number one, a no is never a no. It's just a not now. So in this business, again, if you really believe in what you do, no is never no. It's just a not now. So I never cross people off my list. Someone tells me, stop calling them, block my number, whatever. I'm just like, man, they're just having a bad day. They're just not ready. They're just not ready for my blessing yet. But it's all good, right? Just give them some time. So no is never no. The second thing is, fortune is in the follow-up. A lot of times, like even being, Prince, with our partnership, a lot of times like, oh yeah, the leads aren't working. But then you got myself or someone else just closed 3,000 points, 5,000 AP, whatever it is. And so you just got to know that a lot of times the leads don't work is because you don't work. And just like we talked about with the phone, your system, your iOS is in between your 6 inches. And so a lot of times if you're showing up on the call with already that negative mindset, you're already putting that in the universe for that person not to answer, for that person to turn you down, for that person to tell you not interested, versus you showing up like, yo, I'm about to change this person's life. I'm about to take care of them. This person's about to answer. We're about to do business. I'm about to protect this family. You'd be surprised who's going to answer that phone call next time you reach out. So be very careful what you're putting out, because you'll get exactly what you put your energy to. And so if you focus on problems, you're going to get more problems. Simple as that.
I love it.
If you're a new agent, man, always know that you're one conversation, one client, one recruit away from your explosion, and just go into every single call, every single meeting with that mindset that you're going to change this person's life. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
I love it. No is never no. It's just a not now. And that's coming from somebody who clearly has skill set, right? And I want y'all to hear what he said is that, and Jereme Minor actually said this too. I watched a lot of trainings from Jereme Minor. He's this guy closed I think over like $50 million in sales or something like that. Really crazy. And one of the things he said was that it summarized it. And it's not the leads most times, it's the person, because there just may be a skill set that you may not currently have yet that somebody else does, right? I tell the story all the time of how I was on stage at an event one day, and there was a guy who went before me, and it was a group of 75 people that were there at that event. This guy goes before me, and he's got everybody hyped. They're screaming, they're standing up. He's like, when I say why, I want you to say why, and they're all screaming why, and it's like the place is electric. And he's like, thank you, everybody. They're all clapping. I get on stage, and these people are like half asleep now. And looks like they just came off of lunch. They're tired. They got the itis. And I don't even remember half the things that I was supposed to say in my presentation. So I pretty much bombed it. And I could have ended up being one of two types of people. I could have been the first one that said, hey, it's the crowd, right? Like the crowd just came from lunch, or that guy just sucked out all of their energy. And that's the reason why it didn't really work out for me, right? And most people, especially agents, end up have that type of mindset. Or I could have become the second person, which I ultimately did. And I said, if that guy talked to the same crowd and got a different result, then that means that it's just something I may not possess as of yet, skill set wise, that I need to learn. So I went back home, and literally for 2 years, I practiced this thing. And I said, I'm going to practice my presentation. I'm going to practice how I get on stage, how I actually deliver my content. At what points do I say this? How do I keep people's energy high? How do I get them to respond back to me? And then when I got to my second speaking engagement, it got a little better. Then my third one got a little better. Fourth one got a little better. And my most recent one, I'm talking to a group of lawyers about digital marketing and why it's important for them to get leads. I've talked to lawyers about this too. And I had them all screaming in the crowd. And I'm like, okay, I got it, right? Because it's just something you don't know, right? And that's why what you're talking about, everything you're talking about right now, Jereme, is so important. It's something you don't know. And you got to lean in on the people who are seeing the success so that you have the ability to be able to get there. Man, dope conversation. And if you're an agent, I'm going to go ahead and put Jereme's Instagram info below. I want y'all to give him a follow. He drops a lot of valuable content. And then if you're an agent as well, I think it's valuable to be able to connect with him too. Because obviously, getting valuable information from a 7-figure agency owner could just help you be able to get to where you're going a whole lot faster. And on top of that, if you're interested in our Jack Life Leads community, the leads, CRM, sales scripts, and the community that we've built, the link is also below as well. You can go to the landing page, check it out, and everything from there. And then share this video with as many of your insurance friends as you possibly can, right? And say, hey, here's some info from a 7-figure agency owner, and I want all of that information to get soaked in on what he's saying, because if you just take a small piece of what he said here in this call, I believe that it's going to help you close your next 10 deals and make your 2023 better than what your 2022 was. And it doesn't matter what IMO that you're a part of, right? If you notice, we never actually spoke about that here in the call, because it's not about that, right? We're all agents at the end of the day, and regardless of the IMO or whomever you're associated with, the skill set in itself is still the same. The process is still the same. The system is still the same to get to where you're going. And that's the main premise of what we're talking about here today. So, Jereme, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. I'll let you get back to crushing it with you and your team. And I look forward to being able to talk again. And even on a much deeper level, kind of like a 7-figure conversation for those agency owners that are really like right there, and like some real tangible tools to be able to help them get to that place. But I thank you for your time, brother.
100%. I appreciate it. I'll let you guys go. Much love. Excited to see you in Philly. And I'll leave you guys with this. Something I live by is we all know we're not going to live forever. We all got an expiration date. So just know, with whatever your goals are, the goal 100% is never to live forever, but to create something that will. And that's exactly what we're doing in this community. So we'll see you guys at the top.
Man, I end that with the bars right there, y'all. Have an amazing day. Peace and blessings to everybody. See y'all in the next segment.